Welcome. Let's take a look at our top story. Italy on Tuesday has announced that it has more numbers of ventilators than virus patients, and thus it is a sign that COVID-19 situation in the country is under control. Italy's Special Commissioner for COVID-19, Domenico Arcuri, said that there are 2,573 patients who are under intensive care for the treatment of the coronavirus, and the country has around 2,659 ventilators available.
Per la prima volta da ieri I ventilatori sono di più dei ricoverati in terapia intensiva. È un segno che non solo il contagio si sta attenuando, non solo questa famosa curva, questo famoso indicatore R con I è sotto controllo, ma anche che si cominciano a vedere, ricorrendo ai numeri che vedete sono l'unica grandezza che anche in questi tempi confusi non si può discutere, anche i numeri stanno cominciando a confortarci.
Italy is currently slowly moving towards the end of lockdown. Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte said that businesses can start to reopen from the 4th of May. He further added that the trend of the contagion must be kept under control even after the relaxation of restrictions in the country. Now, Italy has witnessed more than 24,000 deaths due to COVID-19, and the number of infected cases remains one of the highest in the world. We are being joined live by Lucy Hugh from Brussels. Good evening to you, Lucy, and welcome. Now, Italy tentatively saying that the COVID-19 situation in the country is under control. This seems to be very positive, good news. This is what we've been hoping for. Or is this too early to say?
Well, yeah, as you were saying, the news that there are now more ventilators than patients in intensive care is hugely encouraging. However, the figures that were reported on Tuesday do indicate a slight jump, again, both in the rate of new infection and the death toll. But, we are really seeing the curve on a downward flattening at the moment. So, the numbers that we're seeing day to day, you can't read too much into them. We're looking at the longer term trends. And yes, all signs do seem to be pointing to the fact that Italy has now passed the peak, which looks likely to have been the end of March, the beginning of April. And Italy is now looking towards phase 2, how it begins to take tentative steps towards restarting its economy. I mean, Italy, what's being said about Italy here in Brussels is that it is really on the precipice, that essentially its economy is likely to be crippled by this in the long term, and that could see potentially a resurgence of nationalism, a far-right policy of chronic unemployment and a deep, deep debt. Already Italy was massively in debt prior to this crisis, and that is a situation that will get much more grave following the pandemic. It is now looking towards its more affluent member states, such as Germany, to step up and save the day and to help it with its recovery. But Germany is looking reticent to do that at the moment. We have a critical meeting of EU leaders on Thursday who are meeting via teleconference to discuss the rescue package. So that will be crucial. But yes, in terms of the health pandemic, it does appear that Italy is through the worst. And we know that the Italian Prime Minister, Giuseppe Conte, will outline the following steps by the end of the week, likely to start on May the 4th, where some of the workforce may be eased back in. But we understand that there will still be, social distancing practice. There will be changes to things like public transport scheduling and changes to the workplace. Schools will likely come back in May, but again with some changes and some flexibility. It is looking as if bars and restaurants will remain closed for the foreseeable. Borders will remain closed at this stage as well.
Right, Lucy, as you said, Italy looking to lift or begin lifting the lockdown measures as of the 4th of May. Is Italy ready to do this? As we've seen in South Korea, as an example, they seem to have done this too early.
Yeah, there's obviously clear concern, not just in Italy, but elsewhere in Europe, that if you release lockdown measures too soon, or you rush the sort of phase 2, phase 3 of coming out of the lockdowns, that you risk a second or even a third or a fourth wave of infections, as is the case in South Korea and in other parts of Asia, such as Singapore, which initially seemed to have a fairly strong hold on the pandemic. So, yes, Italy, critics within the country are urging Giuseppe Conte to be cautious. That's something that we're seeing in Spain as well. Spain has extended its lockdown again until the middle of May, but has caved to pressure from some quarters to allow children out for the first time since the middle of March to take a walk within a short distance from their homes. That applies to children under the age of 14. So yes, clearly there is pressure on Italy to ensure that there is not a second or a third wave of infections, that intensive care units don't get hit by another wave of very seriously ill people. Italy has saw a huge death toll as well, with nearly 25,000 people dead. So there is clear concern, but there is also concern about ensuring that the economy can restart. So this is about phasing in incremental changes to the lockdown to make life more bearable, to reboot the parts of the economy that can be rebooted safely, such as some parts of the economy, such as smaller businesses, small shops, things like hairdressers, to ensure that, yes, the road to economic recovery isn't too long.
Lucy, great to talk to you. Thank you very much for that report. That's our correspondent coming to us live from Brussels, Lucy Hugh, there on the latest coming in from Italy.